Okay, and welcome to another episode of BJ and Coffee. That's Bill. I'm Jim, and
How's it going?
we're drinking our non-sponsored Death Wish coffee. See, I put this on here for a reason.
I just got mine in a cup with no sticker on it.
Well, this is my Yeti mug. I like my Yeti mug because it, keeps it hot longer.
I have a Yeti mug, but it's the wife's, and I think so only if I put a sticker on it.
Yeah, probably. Do the basics first. We are trying something different this week. We're messing around with Zoom so we can actually put out maybe some video as well. If you are listening to this on your normal podcast listening options, check our Facebook page at facebook.com/BJ and Coffee. And if I can make this all work, we'll have a link up there as well for the video for this. Let's see. So, yeah, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/BJ and Coffee. You can email us at bjandcoffee@gmail.com. And we are on Twitter at coffee_BJ. So feel free to add us, at us, or add, however the fuck. You know what I mean.
It's at us.
Excuse me. Don't be sliding up in our DMs like that, though.
Only on Jim's. Only on Jim's.
Yo, baby, slide up in my DM. Hashtag sent, never mind. Because if you send them to me, Bill's going to get them too.
Don't send them to me.
Well, we both.
His personal Facebook page if you like.
Oh, hell no. So, what a fucking week this has been. Oh, my God. I'm over this week already.
Over this fucking year. Come on.
Dude, I've been over this year. This week just takes a fucking cake. This makes it the unmitigated dumpster fire we all thought it was.
Speaking of that, dumpster fires.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, let me just clear the air on this. Yes, George Floyd was murdered. Pure and simple. There's no way around that. That is what happened. He was murdered. He was killed by another human being. And the fact that that human being wears a uniform and a badge makes it even worse, because in my experience, 99.9% of police officers, sorry, my dogs are here too. 99.9% of the police
Mine's
officers
upstairs whining down here
are good and decent human beings who just took up the badge to try and make their community a better place. And there's Carter. And, make it safer for everybody. And are you going to have a bad apple here and there? Yes, you will. That's called life. I mean,
really?
Any group is going to have a bad apple. Really, Carter? You can just see him right there.
You want to go get Harley? You think he'll take off if he sees Harley?
I don't know what he'd do. Hi, Carter. Yes, hello. And here's the thing, and I get the protesting. And to be quite honest about it, I support it. I support the peaceful protesting 100%.
Oh, so don't I. You just get those few bad apples that are in that, in that group that
exactly
want to loot, want to cause fires, want to, steal from, we'll say what it is: shoe stores, clothing stores, jewelry stores,
electronic stores.
We saw it last night in our own city.
Exactly.
Later I'll find the pictures again on my Facebook, and I'll post them on the actual BJ and Coffee website to show what we're going through here, what we went through last night, which is nothing compared to what they're doing out in Minneapolis, Minnesota, what went on and what's going on right now in Washington, D.C., what's going on in New York City.
Even Rochester's getting slammed on.
Rochester, dude, they burnt the mall down there and burnt J.C. Penney's down.
Yeah, pretty damn. Here's the thing.
They try to make Tiger King happen down there too by trying to fucking let the fucking lions out.
Oh Jesus.
That's fake news. I'm just joking.
So here's the thing. Like I said, I'm all for the peaceful You want to drive around in a parade to bring attention to it, great. If you want to get together where your government people get, meet and express to them your concerns, great. That's how this is supposed to work. And I recognize that at some point it can turn a corner, as we did back in 1776 with the Revolutionary War. I get that. However,
absolutely,
when you were going to go loot, destroy, and burn down the corner store where your kids go in the summertime to get their icy freezes, and you stop by after work to grab a couple beers for the evening, and with that corner store you pop down to when you have company over and all of a sudden realize you're out of ketchup, that's where you cross the line and become a piece of shit criminal.
Well, yeah,
Now,
because they looted last night, believe it or not, uh, a Speedway gas station,
mhm.
along with a local jewelry store that was downtown.
Well,
Street Game, which is a clothing store slash footwear. Rainbow, another clothing store.
and
It,
they
it,
also
it,
did Voltage comic books.
yes,
Now,
yes,
here's the thing. As somebody that has some experience with comic books, I'm an old school comic book geek, I admit it. A lot of the stuff they carry is vintage
is
stuff
vintage stuff.
that
Yeah,
can't be replaced. So there's no real I mean, honestly, they've got shit there I would love to have, but I can't afford. But the point is, once that's gone out of there, that's history that's lost,
watch eBay because I guarantee you'll probably find it on eBay.
probably. The but here's the other thing is that
Hey, I'm watching this Facebook Marketplace. I need a new pair of sneakers.
well, here's the thing. Let's go over to Minneapolis for a minute. And I've been trying to find this story. I saw it the other day and I can't find it again, but a retired Minneapolis firefighter who happened to be a black man, which is, and it does come into play here. After he retired, he poured his life savings into doing his dream and opening a bar, which
Yes,
unfortunately was shortly thereafter shut down because of the whole COVID bullshit.
yes,
Now, during their protest, that bar, which was owned and operated by a local dude who gave 20 plus years to protecting the community as a firefighter, he's got nothing because they burned it down. And
exactly,
what did he have to do with George Floyd's murder? Jack shit.
exactly.
And that's
You
where
know,
I get pissed off.
I mean,
If you have an issue, take it to the people who create the issue. Don't drag in the innocent bystanders. It's not their fault that this shit. Like, I have. I'll grow my personal page later and share it over to our BJ and Coffee. There's a video of an older black man crying to the crowd that, "Why are you burning down my store? I've served this community. And they destroyed his livelihood, his business, his dream. You know, this is even here downtown Rainbow is a minority owned business that services the minority community primarily. It primarily serves the black community. Let's just put it out there.
well, Street Game does too.
Exactly. And
Street
people,
Game. The three stores they targeted down there were Rainbow, Street Game, and oh my god, I forgot the name of that jewelry store they hit too. Geez,
Versanis.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
And why would you like they're community driven businesses, right? Those three right there. Yes, I get that Street Game. Yes, has a location at the mall. Okay,
Yep.
but the point is you're still a community based business here in central New York, and they've ruined it.
Exactly.
I mean, I get these stores were closed. They went in and literally stole the merchandise that's been sitting on shelves for months because they've been closed for
Yeah.
months. So when they open, they've got nothing now to sell.
Well, everybody's going to have it at home anyway.
Well,
The
that's
but
again, the Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, eBay.
that my biggest issue though is the fact that this isn't doing anything to the cops that killed George Floyd.
Huh.
This is hurting local people who have done nothing but help their communities. Even if you're a greedy store owner, you charge your prices, you don't really do anything else, but you're still there as a place where your community can come in and get what they need and go. And you're hurting your own community like that.
Well, I mean, look at what they did too in Minneapolis. They've took and they ruined a police precinct in
Well,
that same area where George was killed. I mean,
I don't agree with that, but
I don't agree with the fact that they burnt down the precinct
Because here's the thing. These are the same people that when somebody's gang banging or home invading them or anything like that, they're going to bitch that the cops take longer to get there. Go figure.
Exactly.
I mean, we've seen this before. You basically removed their immediate response capabilities. So when somebody's being bad to you, you lose now. Um, I mean, hell, here Onondaga County, you can't go out. You can't be out after 8 o'clock at night between 8 p.m. and 7 a.m. It's a
Yeah.
curfew.
Unless you're actually going to work.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
But you know what though? These protesters that want to do and violate, they're going to violate this order no matter what you do. They're doing
Exactly.
it. They're doing it in the other states.
And here's the fucked up part, though. In New York, you know what's going to happen? They're going to get an appearance ticket. I was actually earlier reading an interview with Chief Buckner from the Syracuse Police. They had people coming out of those stores downtown. He says, we didn't bother because all we could do is issue them an appearance ticket because of the new legislation in New York about the whole jail thing that came out.
My wife said this morning after we got done watching everything and seeing all the pictures and stuff on Facebook and shit.
Yep.
You know who we blamed it on? We blamed it on Cuomo.
Well, he's the one that put that legislation out there. They basically had no recourse because all they could do was issue.
You've tied the hands of the cops. You really did.
Exactly.
You've tied the hands of the police officers to do anything because the thing is, they're just going to be out within 24 hours anyways.
Well, not even. You know what? It's just an appearance ticket now.
Exactly.
So it's like there's no downside to being an asshole. I mean, even here, the Target in Fairmount got they $10,000 to $12,000 worth of electronics was stolen last night. Of course,
it's a joke. And one of the reports I read, they did make their way to the mall.
Yeah,
but they got into the mall.
They got met by a lot of resistance there.
Well, I didn't see that part, so I don't know if they got anything out of the mall or not, or if anyone got anything out of the mall or not. But I mean, it's disgusting. It really is.
It is, and it's like because there was an injustice done. It is not an excuse for people to be assholes and steal from other people. How would you like it if we walked into your house and stole all your shit? You know, it's no different.
I mean, it's a shame. It really is. I mean, and what are we doing to really stop this? I mean, okay, Governor Cuomo says that he's got the National Guard on standby. What's that going to do for us?
Jack shit. Because all they can do is shoot people.
And it's going to just make them, and it's going to make them even more pissed.
All I know is I need to go buy a shotgun this week.
You ain't the only one.
You know, and it's kind of sad that I have to say that.
We're both literally a block away from where they were protesting down our street.
Dude, I got home last night just before it all went through here. I'm standing out at the end of my driveway talking to my neighbors, one who's black, one who's white. We're having a great time shooting the breeze. And all this bullshit goes by, and we're all standing there shaking our head going, what the fuck? You know, I don't, like, if you want to drive, fine. But they're trying to take the whole fucking road and interrupt people just trying to go about their damn lives who got nothing, no skin in this game. And that's where the problem is. You can't interfere with other people's life and liberty to have your protest.
Exactly. Now, the thing was, and this is fucked up. It's actually one of my friends actually posted this on Facebook, who also lives here in our little village. They came through, okay, because they went down a few roads.
Yep.
Okay. They stole the flag off the fucking the elementary school. The one lady that I know that lives just down the street from me, I'm not going to actually name the road that she's on. I'll tell you later. She has kids who are mixed.
Yep.
She's white, her husband's black. Not a big deal. Okay. And one of the ladies in the car that were driving down through, she's like, I'm going to come back and get your kids. Why? Because she's a white woman with mixed kids?
People are fucking stupid, man.
I mean, this goes to show, like, you know, it's not just about, to me, it's not just about a white cop killing a black man. It's a cop who killed a person.
Exactly.
Because you know what? In the end, we all bleed red. Every single one of
Exactly.
us.
That's
You
what we were
know,
talking about last night at the end of my driveway. I said, 24 years as an EMT, I have treated people of all races, creeds, national origins, belief systems, everything. And you know what? Everybody bleeds the same. Everybody gets treated the same. My protocols didn't change because I was treating an Asian person or a black person or anything else. The only thing even remotely that would come into play is, for example, sickle cell anemia is almost exclusively to black people. But that's a disease. It's not a treatment change, but it's something that could be out there, So you pick up a patient that's white, chances are you're not dealing with sickle cell anemia. Pick up a patient who's black, that possibility is there. Oh, stop. So, but beyond that, there is no change in any treatment protocols as far as EMS goes regarding a person's color, a person's gender, a person's belief system, none of that. And we all agreed. It's like, this is, yeah, it's bad, but if you got an issue, take it to the people who make the rules. Don't fuck with the rest of us.
Exactly. Lisa today went out and walked Harley before I got up, and went outside, walking the dog and stuff. And we have neighbors across the street from us that live in the apartment building across the street, and it's an interracial couple. She's white, he's black. I don't pay attention to them. I'm like, I don't really know them that well, but went out there today and just walked. Well, the cops have been there numerous times for domestic violence, and yeah, we've been outside when the cops have showed up. What am I supposed to do? We're walking our dog.
Yep.
I'm not gonna go inside just because the cops show up. I'm not doing that. It's not fair to my dog. And the first thing that the girl freaking spoke up and said and goes, "Oh, look, there's that nosy white bitch." Wait a minute here. You're white. You just called my wife a nosy white bitch.
Well, people
I laugh all the time because any woman that dates, well, I can't say all women. Let me rephrase that.
Careful, you're going to be a racist, Bill.
Some women who literally date, now, granted, this girl is probably maybe 22, 23 years old. Okay?
Yep.
So she's probably young and dumb.
Yeah.
So she literally thinks that because she's dating a black man, she's black.
Yep. I can't even.
I'm not even gonna go to like into anything with this, but it blows my mind the shit that's going on. Like, we're worried about racism in this country, okay?
And you're gonna perpetuate it like that.
And you're gonna perpetuate it like that. Oh no, yeah, not me, them, But like, you're gonna sit there and say something dumb like, "Oh, hey, there's a nosy white bitch."
Exactly.
We're just out there walking our dog,
And it's what kills me is, well, let me back this up a minute, because earlier today I got into a conversation because somebody claimed that, and this is how they put it, and the person that posted this is white, that black people can tear down the country because they were slaves, so they built this country for free, so they're allowed to tear it down. My answer was, and hear me out, my mom's side, the Irish side of the family, I have traced my ancestry back. My ancestors came over here as white Irish slaves. And you know what? I ain't tearing nothing down. And they're like, "Oh, you're part of the." No, I'm not part of the problem, because A, my mom's side came over here as white slaves. B, my dad's parents came over here in the early 1900s to get away from Mussolini's Italy. So we didn't have anything to do with slavery. So go fuck yourself on that one. It's like, I'm not going to apologize because of something I wasn't involved in.
And that's the thing. Like, people sit there and be like, "Well, you're white and you're involved in the slavery." No, wait, whoa. First of all, no, I wasn't. When my great-grandfather came here from Sweden, he was a farmer in New York State. He didn't have slaves.
Exactly.
He farmed his own land by himself with his wife and kids.
Exactly. And
So don't sit
even
there and say because I'm white, oh, my family must have been a slave owner. No, that's not what happened. Stop
here,
being fucking ignorant.
yeah, and here's the other thing is that the I have met people, and I use the term people very loosely, who consider me to be not white because I'm half Italian. Now, I don't think there's any Sicilian in there, but half Italian doesn't matter. Oh, you're half Italian, you're not white. You know, and
And that's
up
and you
until
know
the
what
First
though?
World
You're
War,
true on that though, because here's the thing. We've talked about it in our house, because my wife is Italian, the kids are Italian, so we've talked about that whole like Sicilian thing because actually Lisa is part Sicilian.
yep.
Okay. On her, I think it's her grandmother's side or something like that. So they've talked about that numerous times.
And
You
that's
know,
and here's the thing. Up until not too long ago, if you were at least 1/8 Sicilian, you could claim African American on the civil service exams.
which you can do.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I honestly I've never taken a DNA test. I'm actually half considering it now just for shits and giggles. But what it comes down to is place the blame where it belongs. Now, what people don't want to admit though, it's not like we just showed up and said, "Hey, hop on this boat. We want free labor." We, as in the Europeans. The Europeans went to Africa, and the Africans sold them Africans as slaves. So when you really get back to it, that's where it started. Not with just the Europeans; they
And
just
it
took
wasn't.
advantage of an
And
open market.
well, let's look at that actually really fast too, because we go really farther back into that. Okay, it was actual certain tribes that they were selling as slaves.
Exactly.
It wasn't everybody from Africa. It was certain tribes that they were selling from slaves because they were trying to like dispose of these certain tribes. And that's what they did. And originally, before they even sold them to us, they
They
sold them
sold
to
them to each
Spain.
other. Yeah, and they sold them to each other too.
Exactly. So like
Who
we
do you
didn't get
think?
in until Spain started selling them to us.
Let's go back even further. Who do you think built the fucking pyramids? Slaves. That was an Egyptian issue. So, and
That
I'm
was
not
that
excusing.
was that was actually, believe it or not, it's actually in the Bible that actually the Egyptians used Christians to build the pyramids.
Well, technically the Jews, because that was
Well,
pre-Christian.
yeah, so before Christianity, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I don't want anybody to think we're excusing any type of slavery or racial prejudice. That's not the case at all. I'm just pointing out that there's a lot more to the story than most people want to admit to. Um, the Irish during the potato famine were brought over here as slaves, mostly in New York City, working in the sweatshops in the textile industry. It's not just a black thing.
Building our, and a lot of them were also building our skyscrapers that we know of today
Exactly. And
without
it's,
safety harnesses.
oh my God, don't even get me started. Now, and then I have to hear earlier about, well, it's not just them, it's the Native Americans too that, have been pillaged and raped and stolen from since the beginning. And it's like, once again, my family didn't get here on either side until well after all that. And then on the one side, the guy here earlier, the Irish side, they were slaves already. So how are they responsible for that? They
I
weren't.
can tell you actually when my grandfather came here. Hold on, real fast. Let me see if I can find it. I actually have it. My my aunt actually sent me the actual documents from Ellis Island.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. So now you all know what goes on when we actually are quiet for a minute during the podcast.
Yeah, we're actually looking for something.
Excuse me. Allergies, not COVID, by the way.
All right, he came here January 20th, 1865.
So just about the end of the Civil War.
Exactly.
So, and in New York, there was already slavery had already been abolished in New York at that point.
Yep. Let's see. Birthplace was Stockholm, Sweden.
Swedish chef,
Uh,
Borgy, Borgy, Borg.
hey, I wish my grandmother was still alive because I had some amazing fucking Swedish meatballs when she was alive.
Oh,
But I mean, yeah, this is, and it has his full name. I have the whole like list of people that came with him, which was just him and his wife. But yeah, maybe I'll post that later just for the hell of it. But yeah, I mean, let's see. Nope, that's not it. November 11th, 1897 was another one who came here. Must have been like a sister or aunt or something like that. And another person came in 1904.
yep.
Another family member. So it's literally, uh, I mean, it's, and that's all the history I have. And I believe those last two were actually aunts, been his aunts that came here. So like they'd be like my great great aunts. But yeah, I mean it's literally crazy because I wasn't part of slavery. I don't.
Exactly.
My family didn't own slaves. So why are we being told? Oh well, you guys were into slavery back then. Your families were. Nope, mine wasn't, and that proves it. Matter of fact, I
Uh,
believe I believe slavery at that time was over with.
uh,
Yeah, Google that real fast. See when slavery was over with.
well, the Emancipation Proclamation was like 1864, 65 to 63, somewhere in there, which
Let's see.
technically legally ended slavery, but when it stopped happening, that's a little more vague. Um, shoot. Trying to find, actually, let me do it this way. I actually had a
Hold it up
interesting
right now,
story.
actually. 1863.
That's what, okay, 1863 was the Emancipation Proclamation. Um, there we go. Okay, so in the midst of all this bullshit, I want to share a positive story here to prove my point. May 19th, 2019, so a year ago. Fuck it. It's a year ago. God damn. But still, fuck it. I'm going to run with it. Sergeant Christopher Cornell and police officer Joshua Shears of the Albany, New York Police Department responded to a working structure fire on 3rd Avenue in the South End. Upon their arrival, the officers were met by a frantic woman who explained that her 3-year-old son was still inside on the 3rd floor. They made their way to the rear fire escape where a group of neighbors told them they could hear the child crying inside of the smoke-filled building. They climbed the fire escape and eventually made entry into the apartment where they could hear the child crying but could not see him due to the smoky conditions. Shortly after entering, Sergeant Cornell found the child not far from the door and was able to hand him off to neighbors outside. The child and both officers were transported to Albany Med, where they were treated for smoke inhalation and released. So, yeah, tell me again why all cops are bad. These guys went into a fucking burning building with no protective equipment and saved a kid's life. I mean, yes, it's a year old. I won't deny that, but still. And then back to Syracuse again. A quote from Chief Buckner here in Syracuse Police. We had our hands tied tonight. If you grab an individual coming out of a store, you have to issue them an appearance ticket. What the hell are you going to do with an appearance ticket in the middle of looting? So that was a waste of our time, he explained. It really did cause us issues tonight. The disastrous legislation passed by Democrats in Albany last year has plagued law enforcement across the state of New York ever since. To place our police officers in dangerous situations without the tools to keep themselves and the public safe is in and of itself a criminal act. That's what they got to say.
And they were already starting to protest already about noon today downtown.
Yeah. And I'm actually sharing the video right now to the Facebook
They're
page.
actually, believe it or not, they're also actually right now in Oswego, New York, protesting in Oswego, New York, walking the main streets in Oswego. But this is getting to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like I said. If you have an issue with somebody, take the issue to them. Um, if you have an issue with a particular group, take it to them. You don't fuck with the people who are part of your community, who aren't doing anything wrong, but the only thing they're doing is supporting their own community and trying to make it a better place.
Hey, I found my new American flag.
Ah, shit. Now what? Nice.
I saw that. I'm like, yeah. I enter my house, motherfucker. Harley will get your ass. Of course, his bark will freaking his bark's worse than his bite.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, so our local regional transportation central will be shutting down buses early during the Onondaga County curfew and city curfew. Just so people know. So if you're essential and you take the bus to and from work, you're gonna have to find a ride home now for a while if you work past 8 o'clock.
Well, 200 additional New York State troopers sent to Rochester and National Guard on standby.
Yep.
But I will say this. I mean, if anyone's got to go out, go now. Early in the day, mid afternoon. You see streets blocked off. Try to stay away if you can.
I
You see a
actually
lot of
I want to point out a major difference here. I got people that are bitching about. I'm old enough to remember 2 weeks ago when mobs of white people armed themselves to the teeth and stormed state capitals to cough on cops because they wanted haircuts, and apparently that was fine. Number one, they didn't storm shit. They peacefully assembled. Did they carry? Yes, they carried. You know what? That's a Second Amendment right. People need to get the fuck over that shit. They were not rude. They were not nasty. The couple that were removed. They were respectful and peaceful and stated their concerns. They were not looting. They were not burning. They were not destroying. They were not attacking and throwing rocks. They weren't flipping police cars. That's the fucking difference, people. It's not about the color of your skin. It's about how you act in public.
Absolutely. Look at when Martin Luther King used to be out there, protesting and speaking to the people. There was no burning of anything. There was no looting. There was no vandalism. It was peaceful. I watched an interview with his niece, and she literally said in an interview, she goes, "Knock it off." She goes, "We'll stand with you with what's going on in this world with the police brutality. But," she goes, "if you're going to loot and you're going to steal, you're going to set things on fire," she goes, "we're not going to stand with you anymore."
Exactly.
And and that's exactly what she said. She goes, "My uncle did the same thing. He fought for what was right, but he did it in a peaceful way." And it was amazing what she had said. I'll have to find the video again and post it on our page and stuff, because it was just amazing what she said. What I'll do is I'll screen record it from my iPhone,
Yep.
so it actually blocks out the actual question from the actual reporter,
Yep.
and we just get her response.
Yep. Excuse me.
But best way to edit sometimes. That's why I love iPhones. But it is. It's just it's. I'm over it. Like, I was at first I was happy to see that they were protesting here, peacefully.
Exactly. And like I said, I am all for peaceful protest. I'm for it. Go for it. Peaceful protest is great. It's what this country is built on. The freedom of speech, the freedom to express that you are not happy with how things are. That is what we're here for. That is why we're here.
Exactly.
Do it all you want.
Exactly.
It's when you turn it into being a criminal. Okay. And some people go, oh, well, it's time for violence to make our point. Okay, no. It's not time for looting your neighborhood. It's not time for burning your neighborhood. It's not time for flipping cars and burning them or throwing rocks at people. It is time for peaceful gathering to discuss the issue and attempt to find a resolution. However, if that fails, then it's time perhaps to turn that corner. But I'm not encouraging that either, because that is going to
Well,
cause more collateral damage.
Here's my thought on this whole thing, okay? Is the government, no matter if it's local, state, or federal, need to all come together and say, this is what we need to do to stop police brutality. Not just against blacks, not just against sexual preferences, you know, anything. Okay? Need to stop, find a way to stop, and maybe work with the police unions across the board, across the states, and say, what can we do to stop the police brutality? You know, because there's a lot of great cops out there, and there's a lot of bad cops out there. Okay?
Exactly.
I mean,
Well,
my
I
wife
wouldn't
and
say a
I,
lot. There's a
I'm not gonna
lot
say a lot.
only
No,
is a
I don't
big
want to say a
number.
lot.
But
There's a lot more good cops than there are bad
yeah,
cops.
percentage-wise, the actual number of bad cops is very small.
It is. It is. You're absolutely right.
But
You're right.
because they have a badge and a
And
uniform,
you're right. I should have worded that differently than what I did. But I mean, I'm not. I mean, just because police and I were wrongfully arrested, does that mean I should go out and freaking start a protest and throw things at officers? That's what they're saying.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I will openly say, if I see an officer mistreating an individual in that kind of way, would I step in and say something? Yes. Would I do something if I had to? Yes. However, by the same token, if I see an officer being attacked on the side of the road, I will also step in and help, because that is what you do as a decent human fucking being. It doesn't matter what goddamn color your fucking skin is. It's being a decent fucking human being, because whether you're black, white, gray, purple, brown, red, what the fuck ever, we are all human beings. And if you can't be a decent fucking human being, get the fuck off my planet. Shit. Sorry.
Exactly.
Rant time.
You know, I'm usually against a lot of the rappers and stuff like that in today's, rap industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of got a little bit more respect for one. Lil Wayne. On Floyd's death. Stop blaming the entire police force, the entire race. There are a bunch of facts we think we know that we don't know. Reacting to the death of George Floyd, rapper Lil Wayne said Friday that folks need to be very specific when reacting to injustice warnings, not to blame the entire force or an entire race.
Exactly.
Wayne, whose real name is Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., noted that he's unimpressed by hashtags and T-shirts, activism, if you don't actually help the person you're claiming to get justice for. The rapper also implied activists to know what they're protesting about before they activate a cause. It's a bunch of facts that we think we know that we don't know, he said. I was against a lot of rappers today because if you listen to a lot of their music, they're really racist.
Well, the comment was made earlier about, well, the N-word, this, that, and the other thing. I said, listen, here's the thing. If you're going to tell me I can't use a specific word because of the color of my skin, that's racism, period, plain and simple. Now, I'm not a fan of the N-word, and I'm not going to say it like the governor did to make a point. I'm just going to say the N-word. And here's my issue, though. If I'm not supposed to say it, why is it that if I sit in my front porch, I get subjected to it by people driving by, cranking their damn music, where just machine gun like fire of the N-word?
Exactly.
If you don't want to hear it, stop using it. Period.
And,
I don't
and you know,
care about
and you know what,
how you
and you know
end
what
it.
the messed up part about that is someone will speak up and tell you, well, they're not saying it with the hard ER at the end of it. It's got an A. It don't matter. You're still using it.
Exactly. Exactly. But I want to actually do a quick flip here to Flint, Michigan for a second, famous for their water issues. Um, Flint actually had pretty much no issues with this whole
Yes,
thing
they did.
because the Genesee County Sheriff, Chris Swanson, spoke with the demonstrators and he said, the only reason we're here is to make sure that you got a voice. That's it. Um, these cops love you. That cop over there hugs people, he said, pointing to an officer. He smiled and high-fived people in the crowd who responded by chanting, walk with us. So he did. Let's go, he said, cheering as the cheering crowd, or he and the cheering crowd proceeded. Where do you want to walk? We'll walk all night. The let's see. Saturday's event offered a welcome contrast to the violent confrontations in cities across the country. This is the correct response from the police. And I agree. If the people are willing to maintain their peaceful protest, I have no issue with the police joining them. I mean, hell, prove a point. Show that as law enforcement officers, you believe that what happened was wrong and bad. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think everybody, not just police, but protesters alike, need to take a lesson from Flint, Michigan right now. They may have shit water, but they've got some amazing people there. And I'm not even going to specify which group. They're all amazing.
Okay, well here's a funny thing. Someone just posted this on Facebook, and it's actually from the website of like the murder tolls of races. You know the race. You know
Yeah.
like whites, black African American. Black African Americans and other races.
Yep.
More whites are killed a year than blacks.
And the sad part is, if you post that, somebody's going to come up and say it's because there's more white people than black people. If you look at the census numbers, the white male is actually the numerical minority in this country. That's facts. I can't change that. We're the minority. Well, because I claim Caucasian because that's basically what I'm stuck with. Not that I care either way, to be quite honest with you. I don't care. I mean, I'm a
I don't care
person.
either. I mean,
I'm a fucking human being. That's all I am.
exactly. But I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
But I do want to say this though too. I want to throw some recognition out there because this morning, volunteers from the community and several local organizations here in Syracuse, New York, came together to help clean up Syracuse on Sunday morning after protests from the night before. About 100 people showed up to help the cleanup effort. The city of Syracuse says that a cleanup in the morning downtown was organized through social media and text between friends. The group met at noon on the city's south side for further cleanup. Ricky Brown, whose company helps MWBE, Minority Women, that's MWBE businesses get certified with the state, shared photos with the CNY Central of the cleanup. So, I mean, this is people who know that this shit's wrong, but are coming together of their own free will, their own free time to help try and fix shit after all this bullshit happens. And that's what we need more of. That's awesome people right there. People who protest peacefully and just to make their point and don't have to burn and loot and everything else. Those are awesome people right there. You are standing up for something you believe in. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you take it to that other level, you're nothing but a piece of shit criminal. Period.
Walmart in Utica and in Rome had just closed their doors and missed a protest down there. The protest just started. Walmart decided to close the doors, according to Big Frog 104, the country station out there.
I don't fucking blame them either. Oh shit. Protesters in Brooklyn defend Target store from looting and riots.
Nice.
Protesters gathered in Brooklyn on Sunday, just as they did in Harlem, Chicago, LA, and 30 other cities. Blah, blah, blah. Footage of protest organizers defending a Target store spread across social media, with many believing it would not be reported for not fitting with the riot narrative. In the footage originally posted by Forbes reporter Andrew Solander, a group of protesters stood in front of the store entrance, telling others to back up and go away. Independent Twitter user Jazz interviewed one of those protesters in the video, with both having to run while they spoke to stay ahead of the pursuing force of police officers. The protester alleges that it was not actually protesters, but bad actors. In this case, he accuses the police themselves, who attempted to instigate the trouble.
You want to look up a fucking fucked up video?
Not really, but
Look up a video of a New York City police officer. They have fences up barricading one street with the protesters behind it. They pull up with the NYPD SUVs that they have, the Ford Explorers. I believe that's what they are. The one SUV, literally, the one cop literally takes and decides to take the barricade and push it and drive right through the protesters.
See, I've seen that video, and unfortunately, they don't show what goes on prior to that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, what were they doing before then?
And that's the thing. I'm sick and goddamn tired of the media sharing video clips taken out of context, because I was actually reading about that earlier, that there was a video that said somebody was trying to kill protesters with their car, but yet when the actual full video surfaced, they had surrounded this poor woman and were beating on her car. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't give a flying fuck. If you surround my car and start attempting to damage it or get me out of it, I will put the fucking gas down. God help anybody that's in my fucking way. I'm getting the fuck out of there, because at that point, you are now guilty of assault on my person. And when you are guilty of assault on my person, I now have the right to defend myself by any means necessary to get myself to safety. Will I feel bad afterwards if I run somebody over? Yes, I will. I'll be honest about that. But
4 minutes ago,
out of there.
I want to stop you real fast. This was just released 4 minutes ago. Looters targeted 2 Syracuse shoe stores after police brutal protests. Two people were charged. Syracuse, New York. Looters targeted 2 street game shoe stores in Syracuse overnight, making off with merchandise and leading to the arrest of 2 Syracuse residents, according to court papers. The looting appeared in the aftermath of police brutality protests in the city Saturday that sped into the early hours this morning. Sandra Williams, 25, and Devon Adams, 28, are both charged with third-degree burglary and felony. Adams was also charged with larceny and a misdemeanor. Onondaga County Court District Attorney William Fitzpatrick said Sunday morning that their arrests were made in the aftermath of the protest over death of George Floyd that turned late Saturday night and early Sunday morning. So they found these 2 people that actually robbed 2 shoe stores.
Yep.
So they have been arrested, and that was actually just breaking news just now. So that's kind of cool that we were able to actually get breaking news of what's going on actually in the area.
Yeah, and police are seeking 5 people who broke into the Fairmount Target and stole electronics.
Yep, you must have just got that one. I didn't get that one yet.
30 minutes ago it popped, but it
30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
this one was just 40 minutes or 4 minutes ago.
2 TVs, several DVDs, and video games. Huh. Interesting.
So they're getting these people. So
that's good, because I'm sorry, you get what you deserve at that point.
Absolutely. I'm just kind of scrolling through to see what else we have. What else I have? I might just go back to TMZ. I had that one article I told you before we started recording. I just got to go find it. We'll kind of get us on a little bit of a positive note.
I'm going to get my hair cut tomorrow morning.
Yay! You can tell I need one. My beard's getting a little long here.
They can't do beards. No facial hair.
No facial hair yet?
Nope.
I'll do it myself.
On the plus side, Syracuse Hair Salon opens after receiving late guidance from leaders on Friday. It's a different experience. People want to go back to what's normal. We can't let our guard down, said Michael DeSalvo, owner of Haranoia in Syracuse. Haranoia has had to sit empty since March. But Friday afternoon, after 24 hours of confusion between state and local leaders, I won't go into that right now, the salon and other businesses in phase 2 got to open the doors. And DeSalvo explained how different a trip to the salon will be. Of course, masks. We're wearing face shields when we're working on somebody, he said. Along with masks, the salon will have you wait outside before entering, sanitize at the sanitizer station, and take down some personal information before working on you. We are doing everything the state has asked and the CDC has asked us to do, he said. That includes getting tested for COVID-19 before opening, a move the state encouraged. I got mine back today and I'm negative, he said. The state is mandating testing for employees every 2 weeks after opening. And DeSalvo said he doesn't have patience for those who won't comply with new regulations. And people who have a problem with that need to grow up and realize we're in a pandemic. And if they don't believe it, talk to the people who have lost someone to it. So I don't have a lot of patience, nor will I tolerate any of that in here, he said. So we're starting to see some sort of normal start to come back. Unfortunately, it's also killing off local businesses. Iconic places like the Quick Cup Diner has been here for almost 50 years. Don't get me wrong. I get it. That place is so small that if you social distance, they'll never make money. They wouldn't make enough to cover the bills if they had a social distance everybody.
Well, was it Patsy? Was it called Patsy's Pizza? They closed too.
Well, they were looking to retire anyway, I think, but they realized that they can't recover in enough time to actually retire, so they're going to cut their losses. And I don't blame them. I'm glad they're getting out without going under. I mean, that really is what it comes down to.
It just sucks though to go out the way this way though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather see a business go out with like actually having some money in their pockets. That's the thing.
Exactly.
But anyways, in the sports world, real fast, Michael Jordan's custom game worn Air Jordans hit auction and could fetch $500,000.
Damn.
Michael Jordan wore a special pair of modified Air Jordan 1s to support his left foot after a freak injury during his second NBA season. And now those game-worn kicks are hitting the auction block, and they are expected to fetch around $500,000. Remember, Michael Jordan broke his left foot during the third game of the 1985-86 season for the Chicago Bulls, an injury that sidelined him for 6 weeks and almost ended his career. When he returned, Nike whipped up a special version of the AJ1s with an extra strap to provide stabilization for Michael Jordan's left foot. The special modified version of the shoes were never offered on the open market. They were offered to Michael Jordan. This specific pair was worn by Michael Jordan on March 29th, 1986, according to How to Have Rock and Roll auction, a game in which Michael Jordan scored 24 points in 23 minutes against the Knicks. The auction company says after the game, Jordan met with a young fan and gave him the shoes, even autographed them. Now that the fan is ready to part ways after 34 years, and with the success of the Last Dance, the timing is probably perfect. By the way, the shoes are definitely sizes. The left is a size 13 and the right is a 13 and a half. The auction is set to go down July 22nd through the 31st. Hope you saved up. So it's kind of cool that, a fan, a lucky fan had these shoes for freaking 34 freaking years, had them when he was since he was a kid. And now since, that actual autobiography that came out called The Last Dance with Michael Jordan in it, the guy's going to sell them now and put them in auction. So
that would be a cool auction to see.
That would be, I might have to just, I'd like to be able to watch that live. Just to say, they should do a Facebook Live just so people can see how much they actually go for it.
Yeah, that'd be
awesome
cool
to see. Well, that kind of gets us off this whole talk of freaking the protest and racist shit, and it's a shame that's what our news is filled with today. It really is. I'm
actually trying to scroll through here and see if I can find anything that's not related to this. Earlier I was reading an article that they're having protests in the UK now. I'm like, the UK doesn't have the race issues that we have. How the fuck are they complaining about anything. I mean, granted, they got a whole different wealth of issues to deal with, but it's not, I don't fucking get it. Escaped cows from Syracuse University sends a new East Side neighborhood into panic. There's a story for you.
Oh boy.
Friday, May 30th, 1930. It was also Memorial Day. Sugar Puffs. There we go. It was also Memorial Day. The holiday celebrated on that traditional date rather than the last Monday in May like it is now. The fun holiday weekend vibes are still going strong at a residence on Buckingham Avenue in the new Devonshire tract near Syracuse University, where friends had moved inside to keep the party going with some late night games of bridge. Exciting stuff. The game came to an abrupt halt when the players heard something bumping into the windows. Oh, the neighbors are getting playful again, the homeowner observed. But the owner of the dummy decided to look for themselves. Funny looking neighbors you've got, she observed. Looked to me like cows. They were indeed cows, 7 of them, milling around on the brand new front lawn where the grass was just beginning to grow. Some of them were content with trampling down a young hedge, the Syracuse Herald reported, but others moved up closer to the house and crunched the tops off imported tulips, expensive spirea, a budding butterfly bush, and everything else that chanced to be handy. With a shriek of despair, the homeowner abandoned the card game, grabbed a golf club, and tried to defend his lawn from the invaders. Then, in exasperation, he called the police. There's a flock of cows eating up my shrubbery, he said. Sure, I know all about those cows, said Captain George Masters. I ought to. I ain't heard anything else for the last hour. I've got 2 good men in a prowl car up there hunting for them now. The renegade cows belong to Syracuse University's College of Agriculture and were kept in the college's farm on East Colvin Street. They must have been special because the Herald called them the, quote, university's justly celebrated herd of cows. The officers would not arrive. Hey, that's I'm just reading it. The officers would not arrive at Buckingham Avenue for a while, though. So for the next hour, the bridge players, armed with, quote, golf sticks and brooms, kept the cows cornered in a vacant lot where they could do no harm. But that would be short-lived. There is something about cows, however, that makes them scornful of amateurs who are not any too sure whether or not they bite, and they finally broke through another newly planted yard, tore down a back fence, and sifted out onto Lancaster Avenue. The invading herd kicked off a mini panic on the city's east side. Motorists from Broad Street to East Colvin were sure they were seeing things, and cars slipped and skidded to a stop with shrieking brakes. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I love this. Been hunting those darn cows all over the ward, said one patrolman. Where'd they go? The police training school has no course in cow driving, and although the officers did their best, it didn't work out very well. The chase shifted to Collindale in the dark fields between Comstock and Lancaster Avenue. Patrolman Carter raced up the lower slope of Comstock Hill to head the herd off. Look out, a resident warned Carter. Meadowbrook runs through there. You'll fall in. As in literally Meadowbrook, a creek. I couldn't get any wetter if I did, Carter shouted back. This grass is 4 feet high with a bucket of water on every stalk. I'm swimming now. Into the chaos arrived a hero. The appearance of Professor L.N. Gilmore, superintendent of the college's farm, saved the situation. The Herald reported, "Co, boss," he murmured commandingly into the darkness, and the cows promptly began to appear out of it like actors on the stage. Co, boss, he called. The cows flocked to the professor. Then he lined them up in military formation, 7 to a rank, and, while the officers and volunteers stood by admiringly, led them triumphantly down Lancaster Avenue and up the lane to the farmyard. They never took their eyes off him, the Herald noted, eager to obey his slightest word. I never thought before, said one of the impressed police officers, that there was much in a college education. Some of the exhausted residents of the Devonshire tract went to bed, while others began, quote, itemizing the bills which George Thurston, the university's take in and pay out man, was sure to start receiving soon. That was awesome.
Someone lied by rank.
Well, and here's the thing, though. Having grown up on a farm and having my earliest jobs be working on farms, It is possible. I mean, cows they're not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, but they are trainable. And when they recognize a certain command, they know it's time to go eat, and they will follow you like a motherfucker. Let me tell you.
Uh, I, I got nothing for that story. I really don't. What a bunch of laughs.
I had to say something, man, because all this protest bullshit's getting old and tiresome.
I'm like freaking like struck for words here. I've got nothing.
You know what? I am sharing this one
That
onto
is
our page.
that. I mean, geez, I mean, cops trying to hurt a bunch of cows. I mean, I guess.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. I guess the only question I got is, what's so special? Do they shit gold or something?
No, they. I SU used to have an agriculture program because you got to remember, upstate New York was
Yes
majority agriculture back, especially the 1930s. Fun
Yeah,
story.
everything now is mainly in Corning now for like that kind of stuff now.
There we go.
Corning University, I should say.
Cornell.
Cornell. Sorry, yes, Cornell. Sorry, Corning.
Um,
I get the two mixed up all the time, which is funny. I go up there all the fucking time with my truck. So
well, I mean, a lot of it, you get some of it over at ESF as well too. So I believe their agriculture program originally went over to SUNY Environmental Science and Forestry, which then
yes,
evolved over time to become ESF.
yeah, it's now all ESF now because I used to do back when I was driving bus, I was doing a lot of charter trips for ESF and shit and stuff. Take all their freaking students out to the woods to go fucking study fucking mushrooms and shit, bark on trees, tree bark. I was like,
Gotta go hug the tree. Gotta go hug the trees. They have feelings too.
yeah, nothing like taking a bunch of tree huggers out to the fucking forest so they can go hug some fucking trees. You know, we used to joke all the time, be like, "Yep, who's gonna do the ESF run this week?" Be like, "I guess I'm doing it." Fucking tree huggers.
Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad run because you figure they're pretty low key about stuff, and they're probably all blazing one while they're out there hugging the trees anyway, because that's all natural.
Well,
So
no, the thing that sucked was
chill on the way back.
the thing was that sucked about the whole thing was is you couldn't leave like where you're parked with a bus.
Yep.
So you had to stay out there, and you had no cell phone service at all where they're at because you're literally in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And
See,
it's
I'm
like,
the type that would have, I would have had like I'd bring a book with me. That's my thing.
I mean, it was horrible. Well, I got smart. I started downloading fucking videos and fucking movies and shit like that. Because when you're sitting there for a couple hours, man, waiting for them to fucking get done hugging their trees and picking their mushrooms.
Well, and like, because even when I worked on the ambulance, I mean, that's when you're working a 72-hour shift, unless you're even if you're at a station, there's only so much fucking TV you can watch. I always, in my go bag, I always had at least a couple books with me.
Yeah.
Now these days there's Audible, which is great. I love my Audible, but not that I have time to actually read, but it's oh shit. So
I got another story here.
yeah, I just saw something too, but
Tom Brady pimped out Escalade for sale for $300,000.
fuck that noise. If I'm going to buy an SUV, it's going to be one I don't mind taking off road.
I don't know about this one, but want to ride like the goat? Here's your chance. Tom Brady is parting ways with his tricked out Cadillac Escalade, which is so luxurious the inside looks like a private jet. The whip is a super modified 2017 Cadillac Escalade ESV edition, which was customized by the folks at Barker Automotive Design in Oxnard, California. According to Tom Brady himself, he picked out all the customizations of the ESV, from the trim of the seats to the color of the rug. Damn. I will make sure I put this actually on our page. The big change he made had to be the size of the SUV. It was stretched by 20 inches and the roof was raised by 5 inches. And just to make sure everything looked apparently correct, the rear doors were also expanded by 10 inches, which makes it bigger. Tom said he needed the room for his custom VIP reclining seats, private jet-like folding tables, and a 32-inch HD LCD screen, plus a 12-inch screen in the back. Tom says all the changes were made with one thing in mind, giving him more time to focus on football.
On how to deflate the balls properly?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. With each limited time in my business, with my busy schedule, the ESV gave me those extra minutes study my playbook, make phone calls, and be with my family, Tom says in the listing. I don't okay. Immediately my productivity went up and my stress came down. According to the listing, the SUV is also equipped with a high-end mobile internet router that allows for multiple service providers, ensuring they are very best accountable on the road. BAD says the price of the car when new is $350,000, but Tom will let it go for $300,000 or best offer. Wait a minute. At the 2017, it sold for $350,000, and now you're trying to sell it for $300,000?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe $100,000. You piece of shit. Best offer. Nothing that is a collector's car. Could it actually go for more? Maybe. Later. Maybe. But Tom Brady memorabilia is hot these days. I hope the next owner will take great care of her. She will always be a part of Brady's family, Tom adds. You know what? I'm not even going to share this because this is just ignorant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful looking fucking design that he did. But why? At that point, why don't you just buy a fucking limo?
Because, it's not as, it doesn't have the,
But you can customize the limo.
Yeah, but I will say this. I have been in a stretch Hummer limo, and it's pretty fucking cool. There's a status,
Those are nice.
a status thing,
Those are nice. Caramba, fucking Brady, you're fucking. I gotta say, he's playing for Tampa this year. How the fuck he gets sacked and fucking someone breaks his fucking throwing arm? Ugh. God, he pisses me off.
I can't do this anymore.
No, I gotta update that. Son of a bitch.
Oh, Lordy.
What's going on with NASCAR? Any good news in there? Probably not.
So apparently Destiny USA Mall is being used as a staging area for the state police in, the central New York region.
Oh, the mall?
Yep.
Well, let's just hope that doesn't get out of fucking hand again tonight, because I'll tell you, this is getting fucking ridiculous. I mean, they're protesting today out in Utica, New York. They're protesting right now in Oswego. As of right now, both are peaceful from what I'm seeing. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
The president of the New York State Troopers Police Benevolent Association criticized Governor Andrew Cuomo in an open letter on Sunday afternoon. Speaking on behalf of the Union President Thomas Mungier wrote that he finds it appalling that the governor hasn't condemned violence directed at state police during the riots across the state. There you go, folks. There you go, right there.
Well, he also did state fucking in his one briefing, I think it was Friday's briefing, that when he got asked about the protest and if the protesting came to New York State, what would you do? And he spoke up and says, I welcome the protesting.
Yeah. I can't
the problem is it's not even protesting anymore. It's rioting.
Yeah. And that's what people don't fucking get.
I'm gonna post a picture. Someone's posted pictures of all the fucking state troopers that are lined up at the fucking the mall, like you just said.
Yep.
And I am just gonna say, holy fucking cow! I will. Hang on. I'm gonna send this all to you real fast in a message. I'll let you write this one up. Let me know if you get that.
Got it. I was just looking at those.
Wait till you see all those cars. You're gonna be
yes,
like,
I do.
Shit.
Oh.
Hey, there's my little guy over there in the chair behind you.
Oh yeah, he's there. Come here, Bruno. Bruno says hi.
I should get Harper real fast.
But anyway, I would say we're hitting that. We're past the hour mark, so I think we can safely wrap up this week's. And the dogs are starting to get restive now.
Yeah, and I'm sure Harley's upstairs. Yeah, not Harper. Harley's upstairs right now, freaking probably laying somewhere and probably wondering where I'm at. I'm sure.
Oh my God, yes, Sapphire, you're fine. Good girl. So there's bonus content for anybody that's watching. See all the dogs.
And yes, I do have a dog. It was rescued like what is it, a week ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah, a week ago now, and he is actually doing fucking amazing and gaining a lot of weight.
Well, I want to thank everybody for listening and watching. So, once again, remember, we're all in this together. Everybody has the potential to be amazing, and that doesn't involve looting and burning and tearing down your own neighborhood.
And stealing from stores.
Yeah, you have the potential to do amazing things. Sometimes all you got to do is get out of your own way and make a few changes, and you can be fucking amazing and see how amazing life can be. All you got to do is just do it.
Oh, wait, correction. They didn't just break into a store. They tried to break into a car dealership, too.
Yeah, well. So, on that note, though, thanks for listening and watching. Have a great week, and we will see you all next week.
Have a great week.
Catch everybody later.